History is often told as a simple, linear story. Primitive humans, invention, progress, civilization. But what if this neat timeline leaves out mysteries that challenge everything we know? Across the globe, ancient sites and legends hint at a forgotten past. One far more complex and mysterious than textbooks admit. Tonight, we follow the evidence, asking the uncomfortable questions history often ignores. What if the past we know is incomplete? What if a lost, advanced civilization once flourished, leaving behind mysterious ruins and legends across the globe? From Göbekli Tepe to the Great Pyramid, echoes of this forgotten world challenge our understanding of history. Let's look with fresh eyes and listen for the faint echoes of a lost world. Across the ancient world, a striking pattern emerges. Pyramids and megalithic structures appear on every continent, sharing uncanny similarities. Mainstream history calls this coincidence, but the details, shared astronomical alignments, advanced masonry, and repeating motifs, suggest a deeper connection. Are these the fingerprints of a lost, advanced civilization whose legacy shaped the world? Across the world, ancient builders moved and shaped stones of impossible scale, some weighing over 1,000 tons, using methods we still cannot explain. From Baalbek to Sacsayhuaman and Tiwanaku, the precision and size defy our modern understanding. The evidence suggests a lost knowledge, a technology we have yet to rediscover. Across the world, ancient civilizations built monuments aligned with the stars: Stonehenge, Chaco Canyon, Angkor Wat, and the Great Pyramid of Giza. Their knowledge of celestial cycles, like precession, was astonishing. Was this wisdom discovered independently, or inherited from a lost advanced civilization? If traces of a lost civilization are scattered worldwide, what erased them so completely? Graham Hancock's points to a sudden catastrophic end, not a slow decline. Around 12,800 years ago, as the last ice age thawed, the world was abruptly plunged back into a deep freeze, the Younger Dryas. For decades, the cause of this rapid cooling was a mystery. Now, evidence suggests an extraterrestrial impact, a fragmented comet striking Earth. Geologists have found a black mat layer across North America and Europe, filled with nanodiamonds, metallic spherules, and iridium, classic signs of cosmic impact. The result? Instant vaporization of ice sheets, unleashing megafloods that scoured landscapes like the channeled Scablands. Atmospheric explosions ignited continent-wide wildfires, shrouding the planet in smoke and darkness. This was a global catastrophe, wiping out megafauna and, perhaps, entire cultures. Even the most advanced civilization would have been powerless. Cities obliterated, survivors scattered and thrust into survival mode. The Younger Dryas wasn't just a climate shift, it was a hard reset for humanity. Only the most durable creations, megalithic stonework, could endure as silent witnesses. The fingerprints of a lost world remain, but the civilization itself was nearly erased. Cataclysm, not gradual decline, explains the sudden disappearance from history. The Younger Dryas cataclysm may not have wiped out everyone. In its aftermath, a handful of survivors, scientists, architects, astronomers, may have preserved their civilization's knowledge. These magicians of the gods became teachers, not conquerors, sharing the essentials of agriculture, law, astronomy, and architecture with scattered human communities. Their mission? To plant the seeds of lost wisdom and restart civilization. Sites like Göbekli Tepe, emerging fully formed after the cataclysm, suggest knowledge was taught, not invented. The megaliths and their astronomical alignments became a curriculum, a way to encode warnings and wisdom for the future. The survivors couldn't rebuild their world, but they left a trail of clues in stone, mathematics, and astronomy. These monuments are messages waiting for a future civilization to decipher. The legacy of the lost world endures in the knowledge passed down, not in the ruins alone. The story of civilization's rebirth is written in the stones. The Ark of Knowledge was not a boat, but a blueprint for humanity's future. Over generations, the memory of these survivors blurred into legend. To early societies, these teachers seemed like gods, arriving mysteriously, wielding knowledge, building wonders. Myths from Egypt to the Andes tell of civilizing heroes, Viracocha, Quetzalcoatl, Osiris, who brought law, agriculture, and science after a great flood. These stories, once dismissed as fantasy, may echo real events. The survivors of the Younger Dryas cataclysm. The global myth of a golden age, an era of peace and enlightenment, could be a distant memory of that lost civilization. The knowledge left behind was fragmented. Astronomy became religion, mathematics became sacred geometry, history became myth. Ancient cultures like the Egyptians and Maya may have inherited blueprints from a forgotten past, building on knowledge they only partially understood. This theory doesn't diminish their achievements, it reframes them as heirs to a deeper legacy. The gods were real people, their wisdom mythologized over time. The Golden Age was not just a dream, but a memory of what once was. The shattered mirror of ancient knowledge still reflects fragments of that lost world. We are the custodians of a legacy older than history itself. For centuries, the Americas were portrayed as empty wilderness, sparsely populated by primitive tribes, a myth that justified conquest and erased indigenous achievements. This narrative ignored the reality. Cities built from earth and wood vanished quickly, reclaimed by nature, leaving little trace. Early European explorers described densely populated landscapes with towns, fortifications, and sophisticated agriculture. Their accounts were dismissed as exaggerations, but new evidence proves otherwise. Graham Hancock's reveals the Americas teemed with millions, living in complex, ancient societies. The myth of the empty continent is not just wrong, it's a distortion that hides a rich chapter of human history. The real story is buried beneath forests and fields waiting to be rediscovered. The Americas were not a backwater, but a cradle of civilization. The evidence demands a radical reassessment of pre-Columbian history. The truth is emerging from the shadows of myth. We are only beginning to understand the true scale of America's lost civilizations. LiDAR technology has revolutionized archaeology, revealing ancient cities hidden beneath the jungles of the Americas. Laser mapping exposes vast urban centers, causeways, platforms, canals, where only wilderness was thought to exist. In Bolivia, the Casarabi culture built moated cities and pyramids. In Guatemala, LiDAR uncovered over 60,000 Maya structures, all interconnected. These were not isolated villages, but sprawling, organized societies, millions strong. The Amazon was a managed landscape, shaped by human hands for millennia. Our assumptions blinded us. We expected stone ruins, not earthworks and forest cities. The real footprint of American civilizations was harmonious with nature, not carved in stone. LiDAR shows the visible ruins are just the tip of a vast hidden iceberg. The jungle concealed, but did not erase, a world of complexity and innovation. Our understanding of civilization must expand to see what was always there. The lost cities beneath the canopy are rewriting history before our eyes. If the Americas were so densely populated and home to such sophisticated societies, What caused their near-total collapse? Why did the vibrant world described by the first European explorers vanish so quickly, leaving behind a seemingly empty continent within just a few generations? The answer is not conquest by the sword, though that played a brutal role. The primary weapon of mass destruction was something the invaders carried unknowingly within their own bodies: disease. The populations of the Americas, having been isolated from the Old World for more than 15,000 years, had no immunity to the host of pathogens common in Europe, Asia and Africa, such as smallpox, measles and influenza. The arrival of these diseases unleashed a demographic catastrophe of unimaginable proportions, arguably the single greatest loss of life in human history. Waves of epidemics swept through the continents, often moving faster than the explorers themselves. Entire communities were wiped out before they ever laid eyes on a European. Historians and demographers now estimate that as much as 90 to 95% of the indigenous population of the Americas perished in the century following contact. This was not a gradual decline. It was a staggering, swift collapse. The thriving cities, the managed fields, and the complex societies all crumbled as the people who sustained them died in overwhelming numbers. This great dying is the key to understanding the myth of the empty continent. The Europeans did not arrive in an empty land. They arrived in a recently emptied one. They were witnesses to the final act of a tragedy they had unwittingly initiated. The wilderness they saw was not a timeless, pristine nature. It was a ghost, the overgrown ruins of a fallen world. The forests and plains they claimed were, in many cases, the untended gardens and abandoned fields of the dead. The historical amnesia was profound. Within a few generations, the memory of the great populations and cities faded, replaced by the convenient fiction of a virgin land waiting for civilization to arrive. By uncovering the true scale of pre-Columbian societies, we are forced to confront this horrifying chapter of our history. The hidden cities of the Amazon are not just an archaeological curiosity. They are a memorial to the millions who were lost. They prove that the Americas were not a blank slate, but a vibrant and ancient world that was tragically destroyed. This revised history does not diminish the achievements of later societies, but it places them in their proper and much darker context. It reveals that the modern Americas were not built on an empty foundation, but on the ruins of a civilization that was not lost, but erased. Sometimes, the clues to a lost world are not found in data, but in stories. For centuries, legends spoke of a mysterious white city hidden deep in Honduras's jungle. Explorers chased rumors of pale stone ruins and lost civilizations, but the jungle kept its secrets. The White City remains a legend, existing only on the faded map of human imagination. In 2012, a team used LiDAR to scan the Mosquitia jungle, searching for the legendary lost city. At first, the data showed only wild jungle, until a ghostly city emerged beneath the canopy. The myths were true, a lost civilization hidden for centuries, revealed by technology. The team became the first to set foot there in 500 years. Deep in the jungle, archaeologists uncovered a lost city and a chilling offering. Hundreds of untouched artifacts, including a haunting were-jaguar sculpture. But discovery came at a price. The team fell ill with a flesh-eating disease, echoing ancient legends of a deadly curse. The true curse was biological, a reminder that some secrets are hidden not by myth but by nature itself. With impossible stonework, lost cities, and ancient knowledge emerging, why isn't this common knowledge? The answer isn't conspiracy, but institutional inertia and academic dogma. Gatekeepers fiercely protect the established timeline, often ignoring evidence that doesn't fit. History isn't rewritten with malice. Sometimes it's simply left out. In academia, new evidence rarely wins against established dogma. The system rewards conformity, not radical ideas. Even overwhelming proof can be ignored if it challenges the accepted narrative. History is written by the winners of wars and debates. Sometimes the truth is simply archived, waiting for a new generation to see it with fresh eyes. We began our journey with a simple question. What if the history we were taught is incomplete? We have followed a trail of evidence left behind in stone, in myth, and beneath the earth. A trail that points to a past far more complex and mysterious than the simple linear story found in most textbooks. We have seen the impossible similarities that connect ancient sites across the globe, from the precision stonework of the Andes to the celestial alignments of the Giza Plateau. These are not mere coincidences. They feel like the fingerprints of a forgotten global culture, a message left for a distant future. The evidence suggests these are not the beginnings of civilization, but perhaps the echoes of its end, a legacy from a world that was lost beneath the waves and ice of a planetary cataclysm. This alternative narrative does not seek to diminish the incredible accomplishments of known ancient cultures like the Egyptians, the Maya, or the builders of Angkor Wat. Instead, it reframes them as the heirs to a shattered inheritance, the custodians of a fragmented knowledge they struggled to preserve and comprehend. They remembered their benefactors as gods and memorialized their wisdom in myth and monument. The books we have explored, from to, do not claim to possess every answer. They are not the final word on our hidden history. Instead, they serve as powerful invitations to ask uncomfortable questions and to look at the world with a sense of wonder, challenging the gatekeepers of our past and the comfortable narratives they protect. The story is far from over. New discoveries are being made every year, thanks to technologies like LiDAR that are peeling back the veil of jungle and time. The lost city of the monkey god proves that legends can hold real history, and the buried cities of the Amazon reveal the catastrophic scale of the tragedy that befell the Americas. The evidence strongly suggests that our past is not a closed book, but an active investigation. The timeline of human history is not a rigid, unchangeable line. It is a living document, full of missing pages and redacted chapters, waiting for us to find the courage to read between the lines and question the official story. The sources behind this exploration do not offer certainty, but they reveal a pattern that is becoming impossible to ignore. A pattern of advanced ancient knowledge, of lost civilizations, and of a human story that is far richer and more profound than we have ever imagined. These truths are not hidden away in secret vaults, protected by elaborate conspiracies. They are, for the most part, hiding in plain sight, sitting on library shelves and in academic journals, waiting for anyone curious enough to seek them out. Because the greatest secrets of our past are not truly lost, they are simply archived. Follow for more history they don't teach.